it's NK24 here, and I am talking about the Wealth Creation Challenge. We are on step 3, which is increasing income, and we are spending, what day is it today? We are on day 16 on this challenge here. So we're just going deeper on how to increase income. All right, so today we're going to talk about a specific subtopic called focus on increments. All right. Now, this is a very simple sort of phrase and idea that we all grow up knowing, that step by step, don't skip steps, and it's something we were born with, something we were taught growing up. But for some reason, there's a missing puzzle piece that we somehow just start to think that we can just skip steps and skip steps and skip steps and think that we're gonna get forward. Now, with money, I had this delusional idea that I could go from 100 to 1,000 to 10,000 to 100,000. All right. You can do that, but the problem is that I'm not focusing. Yes, the goal is to make jumps and leaps, but the day to day should be focused on increments. That is the key that was really important. So, for starters, why focus on increments, small incremental steps? Well, for starters, it's realistic. You know, a lot of us are not living in reality. I, for one, was never living in reality. Like I said, I would just think that I could go from like 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 to 4,000 to 5,000 just in a month consecutively, not looking at what makes the increments. You know, how much can I grow by? What is a sustainable rate of growth that I could keep it up with? All right, so that's for starters. It's realistic. Okay. And then I really want to talk about that once you sort of have your head sort of you've grasped that it's okay, it's a realistic mindset, it's a realist, I need to be realistic and really look at how can I grow incrementally. And when I say incrementally, you look at, like, if you're making 5,000 or 10,000, really you should be looking at how do I get to 10.1. Once you get to 10.1, look at this, what you did to get that 100 Rand, repeat it, and see that if you can get 10.1 again, which is more than your base. Once you're comfortable with that, then let's see if you can get to 10.2, 10.3. You see, you're building, but you're also keeping intact the foundation that gave you that extra. And that, what is that going to do for you is going to start to, there's something called the law of momentum, which starts to work in your favor. And it's actually quite a very beautiful law, but it can work against you as well. So, for example, for those who are starting to make money, it's much easier for them. They are more likely to make more money if they keep on focusing working. And if you are losing money, you are more likely to lose money faster. Hence, you find that the rich are getting richer, the poor are getting poorer. It's the law of momentum. All you need to get started off with is to get away from zero. Zero is the worst number possible. All right, and and there's also something called, you can grow in the beginning. What happens is that people go from no income to making income to actually making enough income to actually pay their bills, and then they stop. They stop there. All right. Then what happens? The expenses catch up, or their overspending catches up. And now they've lost that momentum and they need to start all over again. I'm not going to make that mistake again. I made that mistake. And how I'm going to do that is I'm going to, when I look at a snowball going down a hill, it starts off very small and it just starts to get a little bit bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. If you manage to stop that snowball while it still hasn't caught enough speed and enough velocity and size, you'll be able to stop that snowball very easily. But if the snowball goes long enough until it reaches something we call critical mass, which is the point of where literally it's just nothing's gonna stop it now. And that is where a lot of people who are wealthy have reached. They've reached the level of critical mass with their money, and nothing, like, they've reached something called indestructible wealth. And the point is that I need to keep focused and just piling up the money, putting it away. Yes, I've got a plan. We're going to talk later on how we're going to get to the point where we get the snowball effect going, and then create, know when we hit critical mass. All right, so that's very important. And lastly, I also want to talk about, as much as I talk about incremental growth, you should always be, while you're in momentum, you should always be looking for spikes and surges, which is exponential growth, because you need to, that is what momentum is great for. Momentum gives you an opportunity to take advantage of something that you can't take advantage of in the beginning of something. All right, so for example, um, a friend of mine, we made an intention together. We said we're going to focus on income, and then all of a sudden, 2 months, 3 months later, she gets an opportunity to get lots of money. She settles her debts, everything. She gets a lot of money, settles her debts, and then she starts to just do things which are helping or contributing towards income. And lo and behold, she got a new job today, which is amazing. Now she's gonna get to a point where she's gonna reach private banker status, and then she can now start to use the benefits where she doesn't pay interest for most of the things, and that, increases her disposable income. And that's really a great way. But had she not set the intention, and had she not been in the good mindset when that opportunity for the interview came, she wouldn't have probably executed it. Right. So that's an example of, incremental steps. For me, it's uh, now when I started off, I just had a job, and then afterwards I started working and creating a habit of working 12-hour days, 10 to 12-hour days every day. And now what happens is that I start getting these opportunities, or I'm able to get so efficient that I finish things and I still have time to start something new on top. And that's the momentum I'm in right now, and I can't stop, because if I stop, then I'll lose that, muscle, work ethic muscle, and then I'll go down. And what has happened is that, my income has just grown little by little by little. This month, yeah, finally I broke even, and this December, I'll probably make a little bit more than just break even, which is really exciting me. But I just need to keep pumping and pumping and pumping and pumping, small incremental steps. There will be an opportunity that's going to pass by, that's going to give me a big jump in my income. But once off, remember, exponential jumps happen once off, twice, but they're not something consistent. So if you make a jump, always remember, what is reality? Reality is back at before you made the jump, and you just keep growing and growing and growing. And that is what it is, guys. It is. Don't rush, just keep going, and take it incremental steps. You'll have a solid foundation. As I always say at the end of my videos, look, I'm going to create wealth, but I don't want to do it alone. It's no fun doing it alone. It's no fun. I want to do it with you, where we fail together, we learn together, we dust ourselves together, but more importantly, we succeed together. All right, this is NK24 here. Thank you so much for joining today, and I will see you tomorrow in day 17. Cheers.